Hey, Joe here. I've got boxes of Vibrant stuff at this point. I've got all their plumbing to do every fluid delivery hose on my car. Uh, I got a lot of work to do, so I really just need to get started. Let's go. My regular viewers have seen me make AN hoses plenty of times, but I'm going to take a minute and just show you what I'm doing here, just so you can keep up if you're not sure. We're going to make the line for the blow-off valve. It goes from the intake manifold, from that fitting right there, at 90 degree, and it goes under the intake manifold and throttle body to this 45 right here. You can see I have the fittings and the hose ends already installed in the orientation I think they're going to work at. And from here now, I just go ahead and measure the length of the line and put the ends on. I'll show you. Start by taking the little part that goes on the hose. But there's a technical term for that thing. Take this off, and I just leave this part. And when I do my measurement, that's what I'm going to use right there. I'm going to fit the hose basically close to this edge right here. Not all the way to it, because there is a bit of an edge in there that's threaded that, let's see here. So you have to account for that right there. Hard to see. I take my hose, this is Vibrant's braided flex hose, and I pull off a length of it, and I'm going to stick this under the throttle body and go between the fittings with it. Okay, so I'm holding this hose right there, and it goes under the intake, comes up on that side, and I'm going to have to mark that right where that's going to get cut. In the past, I've cut this hose with like air die grinder with a whizzer wheel on it. Put some tape on there to keep the stuff from fraying and try to cut it as good as you can. Vibrant sells these things, which are great. They're like shears or whatever. They go on here, and once you figure out how to control them, which I still haven't, you can get them lined right up. And just cut. That works great. You end up with a cut you can work with and get that end on there. All right, I just kind of take these, and with the Vibrant ones, you can just push them on there with your hand like that until they come to the end. You can't see that. Hold on. Till the hose is pushed up and butted against that threaded part. I actually leave like a tiny gap between the end of the hose you can see there and the threaded part of this end. With both ends on there, I come to my vise, and I have these aluminum jaws in there, and I just mount this thing in here. Oops. Mount it right there. I gotta tighten that thing up like that. Then I take the hose ends off the fittings. A little bit of lubricant on the end of the fitting, hose end fitting. This is where you gotta be a little careful. You gotta make sure the tip of that fitting goes down into that rubber of the hose. Kind of wiggle it around, make sure it's in there before you start threading this in. When you're spinning this in and you put your wrench on to tighten it, you want to make sure that this fitting's not pushing the hose out of the back side. So in this setup, like I put my finger in here when I put the wrench on there and start tightening, and I can feel if this is moving down while I'm tightening it. Alternatively, you could put a piece of tape that butts up against the back of this fitting, and then you would know when you were done whether or not it moved based on whether or not there's a gap there between the tape and the fitting. Here's my completed hose. Has my 45 for the blow-off valve end and a 90 for the intake manifold end. I'm going to go ahead and install it. I needed both hands on this wrench to tighten both those fittings up. But there it is. And the line runs kind of out of sight under the intake to the back of the intake manifold. Compilation video with music, go!
Sometimes when I'm thinking about us, before we got lost and we parted, back to back we would carry on and we'd do anything for what we started. But this time we could break. I'm running dry, everything's the same. We'll try tonight, but this time we're not safe and sound. Not safe and sound. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. Sometimes when I'm reasoning about us, I know you got me, it's so effortless. Back to back we would carry on and do anything for what we started. But this time we could break. I'm running dry, everything's the same. We'll try tonight, but this time we're not safe and sound. Not safe and sound. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me? Yeah. What if I'm no good for you? What if you're no good for me?
So putting this flange back on the turbo, because my first attempt at fitting a oil drain on here didn't work, and my second one didn't either. This is the third try. We're going to try this piece here from Dedicated Motorsports in Texas. and see if that gives us the clearance to get a drain line on this turbo that will fit over the intercooler here. There's just not enough room there, but we'll make it work. All right, that's tight, and that one in there is tight. It's hard to see, but it's actually in the cavity the oil flows through. The drain is over there. You can see a little shine from it. And there's a plug that goes over this. This is pretty tough to see from here, but I have that oil drain 90 block thing from Dedicated Motorsports in there. And you can see the line comes down under here. There's the end of it. And it needs to go onto here. So I'm going to grab this thing and see if I can't route it down there. I'm going to need probably both hands on top of Ryan Chartier's hands as well to make this actually work. So hold on. There's the oil drain into the pan. Comes out there. Comes down from over the intercooler here. From that drain there. I have to get up there and look and make sure this thing looks like it feeds downhill the whole way, because you want to use gravity to get that oil out of that turbo and get it to drain down there into the pan. You don't want any uphill sections where oil can pool or anything like that. So let me get up there and check that. Yeah, that angle there shows that that is definitely going downhill the whole way. So I think that's going to work, man. But what a pain, huh? All right, moving on. So the oil drain comes down and it doesn't touch the intercooler there like I thought it might, but it does touch that motor mount. So what I'm going to do is slide some of this this heat protective, I don't remember, heat sleeve I think is what this is called, fiberglass rubber on the outside. Slide it on that hose right where that motor mount touches it to keep it from getting cut through there. There's that sleeve installed. Like the motor mount doesn't really even touch at this point, but it could, so that's likely going to stay there. But that's going to be enough for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Put cheese on it.